Hello, how are you? I'm just fine. Finally some free time to make a video. No script, as usual, but there are many things I would like to talk about in this video. First, if there's any of you who believe that there is a self, prepare to self-destruct. Because through the ages, people have always believed that there is something in a person which does the experiencing of things, the thinking and the feeling of self. Of course, for a long time it was the idea of the soul, an ideal soul that is immortal and that will continue to exist even after the body dies. But by the Enlightenment, already that idea was waning, but people still thought that there is a self, that there is a little somebody in you that gives you the possibility to experience things. It was given the name Homunculus from Goethe's drama, Faustus, where there is a little man, Homunculus, who bargains with Mephistopheles on behalf of Faustus. So philosophers started thinking that there is little man, little homunculus in us, in our consciousness, and that is what the self is. It was even taken by the philosophers or the people who believed in pre-constructionism. That is the idea that because they wondered how the baby that is born, how did it appear? They didn't know about morphogenesis, about molecular biology, so they thought that there is a little copy of the baby from the beginning itself. It should have been in the egg or the sperm, and it being a patriarchy, I suppose they considered it is in the little sperm. A little baby, a little person there. But it is a reductio ad absurdum, because then you have to imagine that in that sperm there is a little homunculus in whom there are already little sperm with little homunculi in them, in which there is sperm with little men in them, and so on. So that is impossible. In the present neuroscience, it is established through imaging, through research, that there is not one specific place in the human brain where the sense of self is, but the sense of self is more likely the networking between all the parts of the brain. And it is a sense of center, it is a virtual simulation in our head of the world around us, which is a simulation of a larger image, and so on. I personally think that, yes, that sense of self is the networking in the brain, and when when Homo sapiens was evolving, the first sense of self appeared when, and the knowledge that we have a mind appeared when man became aware that the other people have minds, that they can be planning something, thinking something, and in this way he became aware that he has a mind, that he is himself, something like that. But through the ages, as I said, first the soul, and then Homunculus, and Descartes and Kant and many other idealist philosophers thought that there is ideal part of us, and that is what consciousness is, that is what our self is, that is what our ego is. Hegel was an idealist. He thought that pure self-consciousness is the basic being in the universe, that was the being, and through his dialectics he said that being, in order to enrich itself and on its way to the absolute, had to do the following things. It externalized itself in the objective world, in the material world, and then it reassimilated itself, became richer, and this process continued. So in his opinion, the self-consciousness of the individuals were used in the role of instruments of this self-enrichment of pure consciousness, of the idea. Kant was a dualist, and he considered that there is an ideal world, that is our consciousness. It is free, it is ideal, it seems eternal, and the material world. And he was wondering, how is the union between the ideal and the material to be achieved? And he saw no real unity ever possible, because they are completely different things. But Marx rejected this idea of pure self-consciousness, being able to be aware of itself completely independently of the world and society. For him, such a being, such a thing did not exist, because Marx, taking as the foundation of humanity labor, socialized labor, because people did that together. Nobody as individual could create everything necessary for his life. He can't create children, for example. So the human species, the consciousness was created through labor, that is, man created himself through labor, through creating humanized nature as well, because for Marx, nature was humanized nature. It was only as we people see it, perceive it, through human senses. And consciousness was the way that nature achieves self-knowledge.